I would like to thank you, Director of Ceremonies, distinguished guests, ladies, gentlemen, friends. If it was in Botswana, I would add senior citizens, but since we are in Antwerp, I will refrain from that. Let me indicate that a number of colleagues and friends who have had us speak before would normally be expecting some elegance, some literary prowess. I'm afraid you will not get that this afternoon because time is not on our side. It is our pleasure to be here and feel honored that among other potential candidates that would have been asked to speak this afternoon or at this rather important conference that we were made the choice. The choice at a rather important conference coming when we are all and are still reeling from the shock that befell the diamond industry some 2 years ago. We have been through the rough seas, and we in Botswana see that as a potential opportunity because we believe in the observation from aviation that clear skies don't make good pilots. And opportunity is a good word. Those of you who know derivatives know why opportunity is a good word. It is. I do intend in this short period of time to give a holistic view of Botswana's approach to the diamond industry by indicating where we have come from as a producer country or a diamond producer. And of course, we are in terms of production investments, that is where we are, and some challenges we face as well as our share of the aspirations of the future. I see that the future is fairly well evident in the theme of this conference. But let me preface my remarks by taking you back to the year 1967. The year 1967 is a year after Botswana's independence in 1966, independence from United Kingdom. That year is important because it is a year that is 1967, a year that the Parliament of Botswana passed a law that said all of the resources of Botswana, mineral resources, would vest in the state. That was a critical decision because what it means is that it is not where the mineral resources are produced or location that is important, but that what is important is that it is a national resource. And the idea of making it a national resource means the control or the articulation of which way we ought to go. It's because it vests in the states, the individualistic approach, the greed of those who may enjoy location would be taken away from them by law, so that we avert a situation whereby a national resource may in fact turn out to be a national curse. I would therefore like to take you through slide 1, because for the last 4 decades, Botswana's economy has been and continues to be and is projected to continue to be dominated by diamonds and the production of that resource. Although it has been, as I said, over the years, some recognizable growth in other sectors of the economy are definitely evident. But diamonds do remain the key export and a contributor to the fisc. And for the last 5 years, contributed between 33% and 45% of the national government revenue. That is critically important in terms of what then do we do with that resource. It is important that we share with this type of distinguished grouping or distinguished gathering so that we are able to discuss and plan and shape the future of the diamond industry, as Botswana's future is deeply intertwined with the future or the development of diamonds, albeit other mineral deposits are gaining or will gain significance. Over the years, we have given great thought and care to shepherding the exploitation of our diamond resources, including prudent management, including employment of revenues generated by diamonds. I should indicate that slide 1 dovetails fairly nicely with slide 2, because slide 2, having determined that the national resources would be applied or used on a national scale, and that the perspective would be national, it therefore should follow that the distribution of where those revenues should be spent, that is where the dovetail comes about. You will obviously notice education. Education has been enjoying quite a sizable slide, virtually 30% of the national cake. Of course, in addition to that, you will be looking at the economic services. That includes infrastructure for, you can think about it, energy generation, water, health is also included. And when you just those 4 sectors alone evidently take quite a large chunk of what the development or the allocation of national resources would look like or do look like. We are very proud that through this resource, we have not only been able to grow our education and develop the much needed skills, also the growth of economic services, of course, including the infrastructure, whether it's airports, roads, power generation, and then public services, as well as health care. This is what Botswana is all about. When we talk about airports, we are currently expanding the airport at the capital to, among others, to facilitate the passage or entry into Botswana, but also is for security reasons, because that when the goods arrive, they do not have to go to third countries. They should go, or rather come and leave Botswana, not through any other third country. And this is why we are undertaking this. And we have a diamond, the interconnecting facility from the airport to the seat where the diamonds are accumulated. So all these are intertwined. You look at slide 3, the key building principles to maximize the economic benefits for the nation. I have already so indicated, encourage, of course, linkages with the rest of the economy to expand value addition activities or beneficiation. That, to us as a nation, is critical. It is critical because we are looking at a wider spectrum of beneficiaries in that country, including those that are in the urban, rural, or any other areas in that country. And then, of course, generate employment and then the training of Botswana or citizens for them to enjoy the benefits of the resource. We also must create a competitive environment to stimulate private sector investment in exploitation or exploration, exploitation, and mining. We do that because the private sector for us is critical for the purposes of participation. Participation, we appreciate that the private sector is not in it for charity. We do understand concepts and precepts like internal rate of return. We understand that some money has to be made by the private sector, and therefore it is for that reason that we attempt and we have succeeded in ensuring that investors have and need to make returns in and to grow their own business. And we have not experienced great difficulty in finding or creating that balance, to create or creating that the ambience of a business environment. And of course, that entails the stability that comes with it, respect for and adherence to the rule of law, and then, of course, understanding the fundamentals, and that those who invest in Botswana need the protection. Protection not only in terms of security, but just the fundamentals of basic human rights. This is what Botswana has been all about. I will momentarily also make reference to stability and predictability that are paramount in doing business in any setting, but in this particular case, in Botswana, we do encourage and desire mineral developments to have linkages with the rest of the economy and inter alia engaging in value addition activities to create employment and training opportunities as I have indicated. And then, of course, over the years, we have passed pieces of legislation and we have improved upon what was originally the case. Previously, we acquired, or government acquired, 15% free equity. We have abandoned that. We now participate in terms of equity by actual cash injection in any enterprise that we think it will be worth our while to do that. Proceeding on to slide 4, I'm merely giving a historical perspective of production since 1997 to 1910. You can see where we started in 1997 and going up. I believe the peak was 2006, and then of course 2007 wasn't that bad, but we have had the effects of the global economic crisis, then those are demonstrable at 2009. But then we had to take measures that would ensure that our resource didn't go to waste. We have had to close some mining operations for a while in order to accommodate that situation. We did suspend production, leading to an immediate decline in government revenue, but we thought it was a much better proposition to ensure that the resource didn't go to waste for nothing in terms of price. However, in spite of this decline in revenue, we opted to continue investments in those areas that are crucial for production of mines beyond 2020 that you have mentioned. Gladly, my own portfolio responsibility, water, we have had to provide. We are currently building some 4 or so dams. The cumulative production will be no less than 530 million cubic meters of water to ensure that as and when the economy comes to life again, we will be in a position to provide those. Similarly, water and energy. At this point in time, we are developing a 600 megawatt power station, thermal power station, of course, utilizing our coal resources that are no less than 200 billion tons of coal in that country. And then similarly at Jwaneng, thanks to good technology, we are now able to do the mining of waste at Jwaneng mine. In fact, the largest or the most productive of our mines. We are doing that, in other words, mining the waste through a project called Cut 8 to ensure availability of diamonds from the mine from 2017 and beyond. So technology is also taking care of us, enhancing our own ability to manage our economy in a prudent manner, in a sensitive manner. Of course, many here would be familiar with the shortage in Southern Africa, the shortage of power, the infamous load shedding that we practice, or we have had to practice. Forecasts of power consumption have indicated that this year and this period in particular would be most critical for Botswana.